live how Europeans and Arabs colonized Africa. Dad, where do you want to explain to people where you are?
Yeah, I am on holiday now here in South Africa. So
Hmm.
we are in Joburg's area. So a city called Stanton City. So now
Hmm.
it's a beautiful place. So I here with my wife Ndizeye Rubasha and also
Hmm.
with our friends. We travel together. So we are just experience life from different places. So which is good.
Have you seen many South African people? They all have. Do they? A lot of them have their names. Like I speak, some see as the Kabwe.
Yeah,
You know.
yes. They have their name, but there's like because we are keep thinking about our identity everywhere we go. We are thinking about it. Yeah, most they have the African names, but where they're working now, so I realize always on their badge for work, so they don't put their African names. So they
Ah.
put, yeah, they put what mean colonial names. So which mean they say, oh, it's hard to say those names. So, and that's why I say the other community has taken away our identity. Always they use excuse. So there is a reason. Oh, it's hard people to spell it. It's hard people to do things. So and they think their own name is much easier to put there. So that is what we keep telling ourselves. Our identity had to be restored to know who you are. You know, African culture, most cultures, their parents, they had different way naming their children. But it's somehow because maybe commercial or because of something else, all that identity been taken away from us.
Mm. So you've just went on your recent podcast run, where you talked about quite a lot of powerful information. Can you talk to people on why you changed your name?
Uh, yeah, so the reason I changed my names and life you have to learn, it's a learning lesson. When I grew up, we had what we call Christian names. Everybody in Africa, most people who have names, we have religious names. If you're Muslim, you go to have Arabs names. If you're Christians, you go to have European names. So that is how they came tell us this is your identity. But before that, before colonial, it wasn't that. So before colonial, there is no one who have European or Muslim name. So the reason I changed when I was in Australia, somebody asked me, "What is your name?" As I say, my name is Aloys. And asked me, "What does Aloys mean?" And I didn't know. I said, "Hmm." And I see, "You are French." I said, "No, I'm not French. But I have this name because we have been colonized by Belgium, but Africa, as a Rwandan, we had influence for French. So that is why I had that name. But that question now keep always in my mind. That question keep always in my mind since I had that question. And that's how we grow. And the idea came to say, okay, how about taking back my name, our African names? And it came to me. Every single day I've been thinking about it. And that's how I decided to change it. And to change a name is not easy. It's a journey, but it doesn't give you anything, but it gives you your identity to know who you are. It's just more mentally to be proud with your culture, your background, and it's very important. And the good thing also when as changed my name, idea came in, also I have to share with my family. And that's why I share with you guys. And also I was happy because you really resonated with it and you really understand it. And that's how we have to change, we have to communicate to be able to have this idea to take back our identity. Like for me, when I say I was happy is when I ask you and you can allow me to support me and you can do it. And these things had to start by individual. So it had to be individual thinking. And then individual come to the family. And then the family goes to the community, community to society, and the society to the nation. That's how we go to change this. It's not going to be a movement. It had to be individual decision.
Quite powerful. I when you talked about knowing your name and what it means and links it back to your identity. So after I put into ChatGPT what does Sugira mean, and then some of the other things said advice, counsel, gives wise guidance. Gushira Usugira, to advise, to counsel. Sugira is someone who speaks with wisdom, guides others thoughtfully, is trusted for insight and perspective, and also looks to build a legacy, right? And Ndizeye, I trust, believe, I have faith. So even when you say your name is your identity, like, is it a coincidence those characteristics, like I have those characteristics about me? So when I saw that was what my name means, I said, oh, I can relate to that.
Yes, like Sugira, it was names which is from my mom, which was your grandma. So, and as I say, our elderly always have that connection. So sometimes they can feel when they're naming. That culture was powerful. It was powerful. They were not just naming like that. And that is why it could be able, a mother or a father give you names, and then when you grow, you found it's you. The name represent you, and they found you, it's your character. Because how that mothers and family will be connected with their children, or even from grandparents, they connected with your children. And that is why a white man, when he came, with everything he has done, he had to choose to interfere in that culture. And as an African, we never recognized that was the worst things ever you can do to people. But now I realize if somebody take away your identity, it's going to be easier for him to colonize you, to make you a slave, because you become him on one part. He comes, look, you should do this. Take away your identity is just to remove your dignity out from you. And we have never recognized that as Africans. Even now we are changing, we are telling people, some Africans, they don't understand it. They don't think what you are saying, it's okay. They say, oh, it's not good. You don't need to have a name. The name can't change you. We have many problems. We need to eat. We need all those excuses. Or we need to wear African traditional dress. You don't need to live in Australia. So they try to bring excuse for something nothing to related with their identity. It's just a matter of principle to think. To change my name is just a matter of principle. Why this guy came, a missionary, he found you in our home long time ago. He found people have life, and he said, should not be like that. I'm sure at that times, there's many who didn't like that. There are many older who didn't like that, but they didn't have enough power to fight for it. Now they embedded in us, in our mind, and that's what colonial mind means. They colonize in our mind, we think we are like them. And now when you are kids, you want to be like them.
Someone has just commented, look at the benefits, not the historical crimes, be positive. So that's their response to what you're saying. What do you say to that?
What they say again?
They said, look at the benefits, not the historical crimes, be positive.
So they're trying to say benefit on which benefit you are looking for.
So I don't know, are they saying look at the benefits of taking the white, or I don't know, look at the benefits of taking the white names or the Arab names? Is that what you're saying? Or are you saying look at the benefits of the position we are now? One benefit
yes, but you remember again, you're not going to get benefit from anything, from your identity, because your identity is nature. You haven't choose to be you. We never choose that. So now the naming is just a mental presentation, a mental identity. Nothing else. Identity is just the name with your background, who are coming from. Because each tribe in the world, each race, they have different naming their name. We should not mix. And there is no benefit you go to gain to have a white name. If there's no even a benefit I'm going to gain because I am have African both name. No, our life is not going to change. So you remember your life, it's you who choose what to be. But your identity is just pride who, where you are coming from and your culture. But about financially, about product, about anything else, nothing to do with that. Yeah, there's no benefit, but it's a pride of who you are. And the pride is more powerful than anything else. People keep
Right.
fighting. Yeah, people keep fighting. Christians keep fighting because they think they are pride for their religions. The Muslim keep fighting. They keep killing each other. We will not get benefit because they are pride for their religions. As we want here to create pride for our identity. If I'm Rwandese, I have to have Rwandan name because if somebody know me, I know I'm from Rwanda. That is the only pride is going to give me. It's not going to give me a job because I have a name. It's not going to give me money because I have African names. It's not going to give me anything. Yes. It's, most people sometimes, especially as we live in diaspora, most people, they want to prefer to have maybe white names. They say, oh, it's easy to get a job or it's easy to be pronounced. So it's easy. Always, as African, there is a condition on our head. Always there's a condition on our head. So we think we deserve to be who's supposed to be. Always I keep giving example. Indians, they have been colonized. No one has ever interfered in their identity.
I hear
No
them
one.
Patel, Rushikwa, Bandwika.
Everywhere you go, everywhere they have been immigrant, they are proud for their name. They are proud for their religions. And also they are good. They don't want to go to interfere to other people. They will not give you their name because they know their name belongs to them. So if somebody give you his identity, it's just to show you you belong to me. That's what is me. Is make to be different from other Africans. You see, if you see the name, Google the name, Rwandan name, you know, go to found Abraham, Solange, Michelle. Those names they are not going to be there. See? And that is where everybody who argue with me, he should do something like that. Do that research. So what is Kenyan name? It's going to give you what the Kenyan name is. You know, what is Zulu names? It's going to give you what's the name. It's that. And the good news for me now is that I just come from my country, the country where I was born. And also what I was going to do is just to change my name for my identity card. And now I'm official to change my names to Ndizeye Rubasha. I want to ask all Africans, young, old, just to think about it, to think why you have been given these names, to look around why other people, they have taken, they continue to have their identity. Why us, the different? And I was telling somebody, when you see a Chinese on the street called Michelle or Eric, you will be shocked. Say, ah, that way you ask him, you think, oh. But when they see you as African, no one will be shocked. They think, oh, that is okay. Now, The other way around, if people tell them, oh, this is my African name, they say, oh, are you Christian? You see the question they ask you? Because they know you have to be identified by their belief. See? You meet a Muslim, say his name. Oh, is it from Rwanda or is it from, Africa? Which country is it coming from? Or can you be a Muslim? And always they try to give us that identity. And that's where the problem is for us always, wherever we are traveling, until we understand who we are. Until no one should be wondering why do you have two African name. It should be nature. That's how it should be. I'm sure even you'll be telling people your name, Sugira. Then everybody will start question about it, start thinking about it. It shouldn't be like that. And that's what we want to bring to people, to young, especially young people. Young people don't know why they have those kind of names. And that's why this have to be individual thinking, especially for young.
And I think young people, it's a bit easier to explain to them that they can understand it a little bit more. So I have two questions. A lot of people say, well, Christianity was in Africa before the white man came. A lot of people say that, right? But even still, when people say that, I say, okay, you say that to me, but when I read the Bible, I read names of Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. I've never seen the Bible of chapter Abubakar, chapter Sugira. Like if it was, if Christianity, all these things was already in Africa, wouldn't you have also African names? Even in the Quran, wouldn't you have names Abubakar? Da, da. But if I'm going to put the names in a book that I create, of course I'm going to put my names. So how did the Europeans and the Arabs come and colonize Africa by this? And also, what do you respond when people say, oh, Christianity was already in Africa before the Europeans came?
What I know, what was there before, it was about knowing God. So God and life was there before. But the people, they were believing. So to believe, it's how the way people live their life, how they were living. So when you look how people, they were living in Africa, it was not based on Christianity. So they had too many women, so the man was more powerful. So there was that way they were living. So which is not showing the same what is the Bible it was saying. So they could call Christianity. You remember Christianity, and when you call Christianity and Islam, it's ideas. It's ideas. So the idea were already there. But now to form now as a group, it was formed by European.
Mm-hmm.
And also the Arabs also form their group, what they believe. You see, Christianity and Islam, and also Buddhism, also the Chinese, also they have the same history, but they put their own in writing. So, but as African, we didn't put anything in writing. So that's why we were missing. Yes, we can't claim it. We can't claim it religious as ours. No, but the life was there. The way we were living, it was there. But now to put it in that grouping, in that belief, in those rules, religious is rules you follow. And those rules, they were not done by Africans. No, it is performed by the white. To go to church on Sunday, we didn't have it before colonial came in. No. Where there was sacred place, it was outside under the trees. You know, they worship. They will sit on the rock or under the trees to communicate, to gather to think they are God. And sun, But now, Christianity, where it came is they have to build the churches. So the church is a symbol of those religions. We never created it. Arab build the mosques, representing them, what they believe, and the way they're performing it. Hindus, they have their temple, and their temple and how they believe and have their rules, so guiding them. So as Africans, we don't have it. What we have is nature. And that's why we should going back to thinking this is our African. It's the land, because the land, it's the land of God. It's the land of everyone. No one has created it. But country, names, religions, it was created by men. Now, why they influence us to follow it? Why? It's because they think they are more superior than us. They were thinking these people, this is not the way they live. Look, the way they do things, no, it's not the way. Let's we give them the rules. Let's we guide them to feel how, to live life. Let's we tell them who's God. Let's we tell them there is a Jesus. Let's tell them there is a heaven. African, our ancestors, they never believed there is heaven somewhere else. No. African who are there, they never had somebody presenting them who came to save them like Jesus. No, they didn't have those kind of things. Because you remember, it's an idea. Christianity is that idea. We never think that we need Jesus. We don't have those heroes, which is the head of their beliefs. As we don't have that, because the nature, it's the way life is. Because what problem we had, we never written, our ancestors never written anything. So it was interfered by the colonizer, by the missionaries. So they distracted us how our ancestors, they were doing it because it was not written. And also the Arab, they can see, or even as we can rule these people, because these people, they don't have life. And that won't happen. He found somebody Christian, he followed Christianity the way he think. And he found Muslim, he had to follow the way Muslim has done it, the way Islam has done it. So you have to follow their guidance. You have to go in Makkah. You have to do all those kind of things there. Africa, we didn't have that. We were not going to fight about the religious, and we know it's not ours.
It's powerful when you think about how this relates into the world that we live in now. Where can Africa, where can we improve, or do you think this is too hard for people? Like, why is there such big reactions on social media, especially from, let's say, the Islam side, or even on the Christian sides? Why wouldn't someone want to change, even for the Christian side, like, or the European side? Why wouldn't someone want to change their name from Michael or John to an African name? Like, why wouldn't you? Like, what did the
Yes.
white men see? What did those guys see that say, man, we can take advantage of these people?
I think also because to be, especially true religious, so we believe what our religions have told us. We just believed it for a long period of time. So we don't question about it. So now, when you start question about it, it's where now you start thinking. See, we should not start thinking as African, as individual. We should start thinking first why these things happen to us. Why always this happen to us? So when you're thinking now, you go to able to understand it. So, but if you just want to believe, just believe what people have told you, and you don't want to question, so that is the problem. That is why you found most people who believe they don't want to listen to anything else, because they know there's something they're going to find is different, but they don't want to hear that. Now, religions also, they have a lot of fanaticism because they've been put in our mind for a long time. You remember, they started you when you were a child and they educate you. And when they're educating you, there's nothing else they teaches you. So our mind, they put it as every single day. Look, even I changed, but sometimes I forgot because they've been in your, you know, in your inside completely. To take out is so powerful. That's why mind is so powerful. That's why they started when you are kids. See, this thing doesn't work when you are older. No, they know. As long children born from their parents, they are put them this religious, they put this religious, and they have to follow this. So now they are building army of fanatism. So that
Religious
army of
family.
fanatism is why no one wants to change it, because it requires powerful mind. See, now we are talking like this because we allow ourselves to change our mind. We are not. So now, when you try to do your own things, those religions thinking, or those fanatics thinking you're attacking them because they don't want to lose the followers. They survive because they have followers. That's why always they keep counting numbers. They keep worried how Muslim they're going to be more many everywhere in the world. Christian now they have fear they're going to lose and something like that. But look, in the communities, do white people care about churches, about religions? No, they're giving up that way. They don't care about it. Only the leaders of those churches. And that's so powerful. Could African be the same? No, because they need the consumers. So Africa is a consumer of the world. See, we are consuming the Christianity belief. We are consuming the Islam belief. You know, if to fight a Christian Africans, all this country, Nigeria, whenever, more places, they are fighting because they think they're different. They forgot they're Nigerian. They forgot they're Africans. That's why we lose our identity. That's why a child go to kill another child in the same country, same language, same culture, because they have been brainwashed. That's why they take away our identity. That is where you see Christians, they go to attack us because we try to say, this is not our name. Islam is going to attack you because, you know, they don't want to lose that identity. That's why we are fanatism. How are we going to stop the fanatism? It's so hard. It's not easy, but we're starting as individuals. The way we are doing, and we share with everyone. The message is getting there. The people, they are listening. Some, they will do it, that they will not do it. You remember, it's a choice for everyone.
What benefits do you think like the Arabs and the Europeans get from giving other people their names? What does it do for them?
Yeah, to them, it's just, you know, their is pride for their belief. You see, that is the pride. You remember, this Christianity, religious, everything, it's mental. Powerful, it's so mental. You see, Jesus wanted followers. Muhammad wanted followers. They keep continuing in that direction. They keep looking. The people who have to follow them. If we follow them, everybody had to go to visit Makkah, you know, religious tourists, holiday. Everybody Christian want to go to Italy, in Rome, to you know, to continue to follow that belief. You see, so their benefit is just to keep fighting, to fight armies for them, you know, to fight for their belief. Remember, it's just belief. But that is why only in Africa is where people from the same country, from the same tribe, from the same culture, been divided by invasion of religious. And we believe it completely. That lack of the knowledge, and that is where they weaken the mind. Who's going to tell those people in Africa, say, guys, we are one. We are not two. Your identity, it should be started to be African. African belief. Your identity, it should never be religious. It should be. That is how they taught us. That is how they tell us that everything you have to get it from somebody. Now, when you look our churches in Africa, our leaders, our pastor, our priests, all the Africans, where they learn what they are teaching from the colonials, from the missionaries, from the book they wrote. They never think, okay, let's see. How did we grow up? How do we end up this year? Is it this our belief? Or can we change a different way? No, they have to continue to teach the dogma of missionaries. Education they give us is working for them, not education working as for Africans. Our education should have going back to see how our sisters live, how way they living there, how now we can take it and then to bring it to monetize it. And I was on the podcast in Nairobi. And as I said, every tribe in Kenya, they have culture of naming their name. Even in Rwanda, they have it. They're powerful. But we lost it because of religious. Religious control us. We don't control until we are free. I'm telling you, we have independence of our mind. We have freedom. We are free from religious. And that was we can ask our young children, get freedom from yourself. Get away from these religious. Believe in yourself. And about yourself. Listen to your ancestors. Look, we have to learn. We have to go back to free from these rules. We agree. We have agreed. These people came to us. They found us there. They tell us what to do, what to eat, how to serve, everything. We took nice one. We took education ones, but education worked for us, not working for the colonial and the missionaries' mind to be able to control us. Only way you're going to have freedom, it's in your mind, because no one is going to stop you what you think. Only you. You have to think everything every single day. It's you who's going to think, do I need to change this name? Or do I need to continue to have colonial name? And it's a simple, it's just a belief. Is it this belief can be changed? Yes. Can we get much leaders in Africa who could take this action? Yes, it's going to come. Because you can see Africa, they want now to be, we become independent, but independent physically, yes, but not independent in the mind. I'm here in South Africa, and the history. Now, they're starting changing the name of cities. So they start getting African names, because
For
all
the cities.
names, yes, for cities, yes. Because
Wow.
all names were named by white name. All the street is white names. So now they try to do that to be able to know this is the land of they have. Even I found in Australia also these days they do it. So you look always, they say, oh, this land for Aboriginal, they say it was the name like this. Now they start saying it. See, if they have changed or they start taking the name of African ancestors, so also should be started as individual. And I think we are in the right direction, and it's the right times to stand on this platform to encourage Africans to take their identity personally.
When it comes to educating children, what do you think is the most critical point to educate kids on? Or is it just a cycle of Islam keeps, educating the children, Christianity keeps getting educated? Because like you see with the church, even now white people, they don't go to church. But we are the ones, and they were the ones who created these religions. They don't even go to church. But or is it just your beliefs are nothing? It's like our beliefs don't exist. And that's why, for example, I tell people I don't believe racism exists. I call it superiority. And if even me, if I'm an African and another person came, an Arab or white person came with an African name, I would also feel superior to them. That's why, other than just white people, other minority groups, they look down upon you. It's what you call that race. There's other minority groups, Arabs, Indians, they look down badly upon black people because it's like you walk in the room and you're the only person who doesn't have the name of where you're from. So it's like you're just like a slave. Like I see you as belonging to someone else. How are you supposed to be respected?
Yes, you see, that is always the case. Now, to educate children, because religion has most put, especially in Africa, it's so hard. And other public institution also in Africa, which is not belong to churches, and also they have to teach part of religions, and which was left by colonial. So those are the things they should stop. They should let kids to be educated, to have general knowledge. And then when they grow, they can choose what they go to follow. But they will not allow that. See, that is why they have to put the seed of their belief when we are children. So that's the problem. You see, now in school, now, if you don't go to Christian school, you don't need to study about religions. So you could be free. But now, because they have taken education, there is no way it's going to be easy. So we have to grow out from education, and then you have to take your decision for yourself. And also, it's good things when we start taking decision now as we grow, we go older. So it's good people, whatever they feel, they believe. But when we get older now, with this platform you are in, that's why we are teaching people now who are older, who are mature enough to know this is what it is. When they finish high school, no, this is not what it is. And you go to see it again. Most children, but grow up in the churches every Sunday because their parents, they're pushing them. But as soon they finish, they go different way. Yes, few people will continue to go in churches when they are growing. So that is where the change is going to come as people get older. So, but that's why the churches, the religions, they still have fear. They don't want people to go. So they have also the way institution also, they take them after the school. You see, there's many who go continue to do campaigning, who go away to teach Christianity. There is also Islam, which send people also to continue to teach thinking there. And then also you see, because they have financial gain, so they are trying to say, okay, we give you food, we give you this. So now when they give you free, they say they are poor. It's how now also they take the followers. So that's how you go to see, oh, church, they give people, you know. So when they give Christianity, or they want to convert them from more Islam to Christianity, or Christianity to Islam. Those wars we are talking now, they are running every single day. All those countries, they have money. They keep spending that money to be able to continue the people who follow them. And most people where you are, most people who we don't think properly, it's us. It's why they keep coming. It's why the church that are growing in Africa than anywhere else in the world. Why? And it doesn't show you anything has worked. See, everything doesn't work, you come to Africa. So you wonder why is that? Is because poor mind. That's what poor mind means. You can see something doesn't work, but you can see people is what they are following up. Instead to think why I need to follow this. But it's a war. The war to change is the most war. The war to change people's mind, it's the hardest war. Because everything we do in Africa, they have to come from outside. And then we have to follow. Like the thing always keeps saying, people, when you say about racism or racism mean hate. So hate is nature. Hate is not going to go away. There's hate everywhere. And the hate comes from a different mind. People can hate you because of your color. That is true. People can hate you because your ideas. Do you know how many people go to hate me because I told them they are God? Yes. So those hate, they can't go be away. And again, we are not going to say it doesn't exist. You have to know it exists. But it's how you take it in your mind. If you go to live, see that hate, you go to see it always in your mind. What is somebody, if you think he's superior than you, and if you don't think about it, it means nothing. But if you keep thinking about it, it's the problem. It's in the mind. And this thing was created always to distract us. See? No one, white people think is superiority. No, they do the action. But as African, we keep thinking about it. We keep thinking about it. You are saying about, minority. Minority from what? See, those the name colonial mind keep putting us there. See? Oh, look, those the immigrant. See, all those things there. A white man always have name to us. And those are name affect mentally. Oh, look how poor they are. Oh, look how thinking they. He keep always giving us name. He keep always giving us name. You know? And that is the war. And you remember, this thing, because we live in Western countries, we think the world starts there. No. If a nation goes down, if you disappear in this map, so the other side is going to survive. It's going to work. All those things we present ourselves when we go where people live, it's people. There's no minority people. We have one same life, but we accept it. You are minority from what? Those numbers. So we have to think how life is, how to think what life is me. Everybody tell you the name is to them. You should not saying that. Minority from what? Everybody have one life. We are equally. It could be immigrant or non-immigrant. Mean nothing. Because you think it's in your mind. You could be racism or not racism. It mean nothing. Somebody's going to hate you anyway. Even yourself, you have to learn first to love yourself. Because even you can hate yourself. People hate themselves. People take away their life. Life can push you. And you keep walking, hating yourself. You keep walking, thinking you are a minority. Keep thinking you are poor. Keep thinking all those negative things people have put you there. Keep thinking there's evil people. We have to change the way African we believe and we take our identity. We have to know we deserve everything. But we keep going back in negative history. Nothing else. We don't want to move forward. We learn from it. And learning from it, first things is to change identity. There is no other way. You can't keep saying people are racist and you are carrying their names.
Imagine.
Yes. And who cares if they are? When you have your name, When you change, they go to respect it because they hate you anyway. You have their names, even they still hate you. They should even feel sorry because now you agree to be like them. They could, okay, at least this one has our name. No, they
They
go to
still
hate you
hate
no matter what. They. So let's we take our identity first. Let's we love ourselves first. Let's we know we deserve better life. Life you have is life. You have to know you're not a minority. We have one life, equal life. And when we born equally. We born the same. Even if you're born in a huge mansion and you are born on the street, the life is the same until you grow. Oh, that is why I'm here. But when you are born, you can't know. It's the same. When you pass away like anyone else. What happened after you pass away? No one knows. You don't know. You don't even care. No, it doesn't mean nothing to anyone else. Eh? People cry until what? Because it's what religious has said. The people who kill, the people in the mind. Why people cry when their own die, but when they're killing each other, they feel that is right. You know, nature can take you. Nature can take you anytime without doing anything. With African names, with European name, with your identity, with your Islam, with anything else, the nature is going to take you. Yes, but this, what you're talking about, is just the pride for our identity and pride who we are. And that's it. It's not going to give you anything else.
because even someone had asked, like, what importance, aside culturally, does having an African name enhance successful outcomes in, for example, business or in life? So people, like, it's more like, okay, you're telling me to keep my African name, but what effect does that have on my life? And like, for me, I'll just say personally, you're right. It may not have a um specific big change in your life, but the fact that there's just this pride, like you say,
Yes, it's your
to know
identity.
who you
You
are. My
remember,
name represents where I'm from. I don't see myself as a black person. I see myself as a
yes.
spirit. I
So
walk in by.
to become what you want, it's what you think. Yes. Your life to be better, it's what you think. Identity is not going to give you a good job. It's not going to give you anything there. You yourself, you know who you are. You be proud who you are. Now you go to think what to be, what to have, what to do through your mind. Yeah. So if you are thinking the name or the government or other outsider, they're going to build you, is where we get wrong always. See, like that person, I should tell him, sir, to be who you want is not the name. You be what you want because it's what you think, it's what you become. Your identity, it's just the pride who you are. And that is why it is. And that is why somebody interfere with it, it's mean it's just the power of superiority and the power of owning. And that's why again I can say we become free from these colonial beliefs, you know, that's what it is. If you don't want to be that, if you don't want to be free, that is okay. There are people who don't want to be freedom. There are people who are there who want to be continue to follow other people. There are people who continue to be sheep. There are other people say, no, I have to be a leader. I have to take my own name. This is courage. It's not come from everyone. See me here talking, change my name to Jira, to change your name, to have that courage to tell people. It's a courage. You are powerful. You are a fighter. You are a freedom fighter for mind. People thinking physical on ground or job. No, it's just the spirit of mind we have to take back. That is what we are talking about. We are not talking about jobs. We are not about talking opportunity. We are not talking about money here. It's the power of belief who we are. to bring back our identity, our ancestral name, our culture naming. That is what we need. And if everyone can do that, the respect is going to come everywhere. If our leaders who have those white names, if they stand in front, they say, look, let's retake our identity. Let's teach our culture, our education, our language. Language for African disappeared every single day. Why? Because we don't know who we are. We don't value who we are. We don't value what our ancestors have given to us. We were being distracted. That is why when we'll be this war arguing, we'll be arguing with our brothers and our sisters. You said normally this one, everybody should have listened to say, man, you are right. Yeah. Most people I'm talking about, they say, yes, you are right. But I can't change it because it's too much paperwork. It's a war. But if you want freedom, you have to fight for it. If you don't want freedom, that's okay too. It doesn't change anything. Yeah. So to know when you are sitting there, to take that mind, to take that God to say, look, I change my name. I want my identity. It's so powerful. Not everyone is going to do it. That's why you keep teaching now other young people to do that. Message is going to go there. People, they go to listen. And that's how life is. Are you willing to learn? Are you willing to have more knowledge? Or you just want to believe? If you want to just believe what somebody has told you, that's fine too. If you are walking, believe you're going to go to heaven after here, that is also true. If you're walking thinking you're going to go to hell, that is also true. You remember, you have to choose where to go. You have to choose if to jump or to sit.
Can you see the comment that you've just come in? So
No,
I'll
I
just
didn't
read.
see.
Okay, so I'll just read the comment. The comment says, I don't think the name equals the values, as a lot of people who have African names have morally bankrupt values.
Yes, you remember again, they are confusing now. See? They are confusing what is you want to be and who you are. What you want to be had to come through your mind. Bankruptcy is part of life. Success
No,
is part
no,
of
they're
life.
saying they're saying morally bankrupt values. So basically, the people who have African names are still their values are still bad. They're morally.
Yes, yes, that's okay. But at least they know their identity. So if they want now morally to change, time will come. You see? So now you remember to be what you want or to do to become, it's through the mind. Yes. But your identity, it had to match who you are. You don't need to take somebody else's identity because it's totally, it says there, you Google it, it's a different. It's a
Because
different.
you're not gonna find a white person. You go in the building and their name is Abubakar or their name is
No,
Sugira. Like
no,
you'll
no.
never find that.
You
You'll
never
never
found that.
find that. So how comes I walk into a room, there's a white man. I walk into the room, there's a white man there. He will never have an African name. There's an Arab person there. He will never have an African name. There's a Chinese person there. He won't never have he'll have a Chinese name, right? There's a who else? There's some a French person there. They will never have an African name. So we everywhere we walk in, we have other people's names, but we don't have a name of our own.
Let me think something worse even which is worse. You see, I went also in Kenya. I was visiting my friend in a place called Kisumu. Kisumu is a Luo land. In Luo land, you will never go to find somebody who has a name of Kikuyu or Akamba or other tribe. It doesn't exist. And it's the same country. See? The tribe, they can't name their children other people's children. No, they have to name the name in their Luo land. But because they be colonizer, they have white names included. So you go to find them, those names everywhere. But African names in different tribe, you will never do that. And that's where African we are missing. Because if you go Luo land, the reason they have their names is because they know who they are. They represent them. And if you go to Kikuyu land, you go to found they have their name with the same meanings. And if you go to Kambaland, they have their name. So they don't mix their name to the tribe. They don't, because they believe who they are. But why now we have been mixed with people with nothing to do? When you look our color, we are totally different. So why do we take their identity? That's what you are talking about. It's just the moral to sense who we are. And that's so powerful. You are not going to find somebody in Kikuyu and then you find they give a Luo name that children when it's born. No. Only when people they intermarried, that's where they take name from their different names. If maybe they have children with a mixed tribe, the mixed tribe, they have to do that. And you know, even their mixed tribe, each parents had to name from one side to another side. Then they give a Christian name or Muslim name. But they are fighting for their tribal names. But we forgot to fight the nation of African identity. That is another thing we should understand. All those people are talking, if we're Africans, if they're different tribe, they have to go back to their ancestors. They know how the naming of the tribe is so powerful.
Okay, so you've got a question here that says, what do you feel is more important, identity or values? As I have heard you both, I have heard you using both interchangeably. So he's saying, what's more important, identity or values?
Both are they important. Everything in life is important. There's nothing better than anything else. You want to pass your identity. You want to be proud of who you are? Yes, you have your name. And then the other thing comes first. You have to be identified first. When you are born, you don't become, you are not born with values. No, you just come born, you are up there. What they give you first? Your identity. And before, after you get the identity, you go to see what the value is going to be for you. And the values change. Life changes every single day. But they have to go to remember, let's we go to basic. When you are born, you'll be given a name.
That's true. When you're born, they go, what do they do straight away? They go and get your identity.
Yes, that is how it is. So now, which identity they should give it to you? White identity, African identity. That is why they mix it. Now they're thinking their identity is there first. It's who you are first. And then other thing comes as you grow, as you grow. So that is why I say most we are trying to bring excuse outsider, not to take responsibility, not to war our ancestors here or someday we did do something wrong. Let's see what we can do.
Like,
Yeah.
like when I think about it in my personal experience, so I used to have a French name, right? So my dad convinced me to remove my French name. So people would ask me, "What's your name?" growing up, and I say, "Oh, Yves," right? But I have the pride of a French person. But when I actually think about this thing, it feels so weird for me. Like, why should I have a white name? It just doesn't make sense. Why should I go in the building and my name, I'm proud to have a French name? Why am I proud to have someone else's name? Your identity. So, like, if you look at the names, oh, I've got a Christian name. My name's Michael. My name's Tim. Well, that's a man created that religion. A man wrote the Bible. It wasn't God physically who went and wrote the Bible. It wasn't God who physically wrote Matthew chapter 3, verses 4. No, a human being wrote that. So, your identity is not from what a man creates, but is from God. And, and God is here it is within, is internal. So to have the name from where you're from what our ancestors had, knowing that we are the creators, it's just a game changer. Even me in business, when I walk in the building, it's like I have that pride of my name and my ancestors and my legacy, the same way that white person has his name is Michael, and he'll even tell you about his fathers and what they used to do back in the days, and they have pride in their name. You'll never see them with, you know, an African name, like, you know.
And then you say nicely when you start. You say nicely how you go out in the meeting, the feelings, and that's what it is. It's the inner feelings. You're experiencing it now, you know. You had different identity now. You feel your home, but because always they go to ask you where you from, because you could see, they know that the question first they ask you. Wherever you're from, it can be matching the name of who you are. So normally, if people see the name as Africans, they go to know straight away you are African. But if they found your name is John, they don't even to think you are English. They still ask you, where are you from? You see? Because they go back in your identity, you know? But now when you see Sugira, they know straight away you are African. And that is the sense, the feeling, and the pride. It's new. And that's why our life started where? In the mind. And that's where it's so powerful to talk about it, to tell young people about it. And they themselves, they are going to experience what we are talking about. Till you do it, it's how you know what the benefit comes with it. How you go to feel with it inside you is where everything started. It's within. They have to experience it. That's for me. When I decide to do it, and I did it, and I keep telling people, it's not easy, people, to forget old names. Sometimes people don't want to call me Aloys. I understand it. It's their right also to continue to believe. But it's so amazing. You are telling people my name is this, but they don't want to give your name. Why? Do you know how mind is so powerful work? Do you know how mind will be colonized in the mind, how it works? I tell people, look, I changed my name. Call me Ndizeye. But they're refusing. Why? Again, it's what we call poor mind. We have an African's mind. Until they realize we are strong enough, we are powerful enough, we can take our identity enough, we can have our own name, we can have our own life, they will know it's a change. It's a powerful change. And the change starts, everything starts from identity. Even those people asking, they Google what it means to have identity. What does it mean to have African names? They Google it. What does it mean to have white names? They should Google it. They see what the answer ChatGPT is telling them. Yeah.
ChatGPT will tell you, and
Yeah, it tell you. And everywhere you go to ask questions, you go to tell you about name. You go to ask everything you ask about name, and they go to encourage you, if you're African, to take back your name. He's going to tell you. We don't need to be religious here and there. No, we should not be part of this. We should think about it and the way to come out. There's something always people call, especially the white people, how to exit and high situation, how to exit in the business, how to exit and, in a big issue you are facing. They have to have a strategy plan for exit, for everything they have. Exit plan. How can we plan to exit from this colonial mind? How? You go to certain identity.
And speaking of identity, so we just, again, another comment. I asked that question because for me, he's saying the question, values are more important than identity because they guide choices, behavior, how we treat others, relationships, and long-term meanings, right? Identity can change with context or time, but values provide a stable moral compass that shapes actions. Even just to be honest, I will just comment on that myself. Like, why should your identity change? Like, how can my identity is the foundation in terms of, one thing I noticed, right? And you look at just his history, even the look at colonization. Why did they come to Africa and take the names away from African? Even though they colonized them, they came and took away your name. They said, remove your name. Here's Michael. The Arabs said, here's Muhammad. They went and colonized India. They colonized India, but they didn't take their names. The Indians kept their names. And so if you think about religion and the way they used religion to, continue to brainwash someone to, yes, take these names, is because religion is also about the ancestors. It's about the values. It's about, these are the beliefs of our forefathers. And we believe in that so much. We're going to remove your names and remove your history and give it to you because they're proud of their history. So for me, your identity also shapes your values. Where the Rubasha family, we believe, of course, the values is more, like you said, the mind, right? Because you can have your own name and still be a bum. You can have your own name and identity and still be a loser, or to still, yes, you can still do that. But the foundation to have your name is more about that legacy, is more about, what my ancestors did before me.
Yes.
And then now, building that legacy. We know this is the Rubasha name. This is our household. Why do you have your identity from another man? Your identities shouldn't be from another man. It's from God.
Yes, and from your ancestors, because we are coming from them. So that is why we found ourselves, we are different in our color of our bodies. That's only the different we have. But inside, we are the
Dad,
same.
your screen's gone off.
Oh,
is someone calling you?
No, I think was telling me something. Yeah. Is okay now?
Yeah.
Yeah, something's pop up there. Yeah. So and that's what it is. Our life, when we are arguing for our brother and our sisters, it's so sad because we don't sit down first. We think straight away reacting instead to start thinking, to start go back to see the history. We start thinking why, whatever situation you are in, if you hear this message, and like people who comment is good because they're getting message, and that's so good. When people comment, no matter if it could be positive or negative, it's all communication. Yeah, and that's how to communicate. When your mind is telling some things they don't listen, always they have to have excuse to bring to you yourself. It's the same. Even me, sometimes I say, oh, do I should have done it? Do I should have, changed my names? What is going to make me feel? See, all those questions we get from people also came to us individual every single day. Even if you have been done it, those questions come to us. Did I do the right things? It will be not have done it. See, the question comes from yourself in your mind. But later you realize why this person did it. Why did he come and say, take away your names? Why? It's because he doesn't respect you. Somebody who respects you, he can come, he respect you, you share the meal with him, you tell him his name, he tell you your name, and we respect each other. That is the mutual respect each other. That's how you value other people. The white people, they never came to value Africans. They never did it. They didn't have moral. They used other people to be slaves. White people, do you think they have moral? Value moral about Africans? No, they don't. The history, if you made somebody a slave, or if you colonize somebody, and if you put the rules to somebody, there is no moral they have. They act, they have. They don't. If you have moral to respect somebody, you don't interfere in his name. You don't interfere how he eats. Because it's powerful, because it's superiority, he keep interfering for us what to do. He keep telling you which democracy you have to have. He keep telling you how dictator you are. He keep telling you all those things there. There's no value at all. There's no value a white man bring to Africans. None. And the history shows, even up to now, shows. They come, they're powerful, they strategy, they take whatever they want, they steal from you the way you want. It doesn't deal with you in a property with integrity. No. Always they want to take away something from you. Always they want to put in trouble for you. So, we are consumer for nothing. If a disease come out, he's the one who's going to find what disease was. He's the one who go to do the research. He's the one who's going to create the medication for that disease. He's the one who's going to make that pill and he give it to you and you eat it. He give you, you eat it. Because they don't value us as somebody who can think our own things. All disease, it was searched by him in their laboratories. Even if African, they have their laboratories, it had to be done by them. Everything has to be done by them. He found a disease, he got to find a cure, he got to make it the medicine, and then he got to sell that medicine to you. Not our own. Our education is just our doctor, what they do? Oh, just send prescription from medication coming from where? In their country. They do nothing else. Just to give us what he has sent to give to us. There's no more. I was traveling from Nairobi to come to South Africa. So now, do you have to have yellow fever? And you are traveling between a continent to another continent. But I'm not sure when you are white, they ask you yellow fever. No. See? What is that? We are healthy like anyone else. But they put us always those disease in our mind. You have to go to do those vaccination, everything there to be able to travel from your continent, which is the border. It means nothing because the border, it was created by who? By a colonizer. Border, it doesn't affect the disease because you cross the continent is one. The land is the land. Yellow fever. If you are living, can you come to South Africa without those yellow fever? What is that? Those people think we accept it as a human being. We are healthy like anyone else. You are not have a disease. You never have a sick. But somebody has thinking because you live this area, you have this disease. You remember, you come to Australia. They ask you, have you been in Africa in the last 6 months? And if you're yes, they put you on the side. For what? Because they think always you have diseases. But we are healthy like anyone else. But that is how colonial power mind it is. That is superiority mind it is. That's how it is. Country in Africa will keep fighting with borders being created by colonial person. And our leader will believe that's what it is. So what is the lead? I can tell you again, our education never worked for us. It continues work to the colonial mind. Because we believe what is done, that is right, we can't do anything else. That is why those people have those kind of comments, thinking to have your identity, it's nothing. But it's the cause for all those consequences we're having in the whole continent. But they made us just to live as a consumer, nothing else. For our children, they can invent anything. They can manufacture anything. No, They do everything, and then us, we go just to be consumers.
We consume everything, even other people's names. Can you imagine?
That's how it is, man.
You're
We
either a
are taking
creator
other
or
people's rights.
consumer.
Yes, as they made us to be consumed. They can't make us to have. They will not allow to us, and that is why I see how Chinese in this last century, last 50 years, has changed their life. But as we could think, how can we follow that step for Chinese? How a nation with 1.4 billion people in 30 years become just so powerful, so powerful. Like everyone could think, why this happen? And it happened now with now this new generation, with this technology now, we can see. They show you we were here like this 10 years ago. 20 years ago, we are like this. 30 years ago, we are like this. We didn't have factories like that. In 10 years, we have this factory like that. We have one airport. Now we built 30 airport. How does a country do that? How? How can it be super warship fighting? In 20 years, didn't have anything like that. How do things work? How a nation be successful and start investing everywhere around the world? Start sending their children with money to go to build other places. Why? Why we can't walk in the street of Africa with clean city? In Nairobi is the most expensive city in Africa. But when you look in suburb, you're driving, you do think that there's a pile of rubbish on the street. There's no sewage water there. People running, there's no drainage system in the country. They are built, they have money, not because we are poor, but poor mind doesn't make to be clean. What does it require to be clean, Sugira? Just buy machine, do creating them. We can't even make ourselves to be clean. To have a place where rubbish it should be put in the place. What kind of education do you need to know that? They show they have footage, I already did. We love our continent. That's why we have to talk to them now. Why do we allow a dirty city? Is it because financially? Is it because we think that is how life is okay? Is it because we have no knowledge? Why? Is it because we don't have a good governing? Do those people have pride for their city? Who those people are working for? Do working for the people of Kenya? Do working for the community? Why a city elected to have dirty on the street? Why you go to the market, and you find a pile of rubbish on the street? The transaction every single day. People go to buy. There's a transaction being there. But they can organize the way to take the rubbish away. But they can't feel this is not good. It was a simple question. And that it came with no the identity who we are. Identity who we are is just the proud who we are as Africans, as a Kenyan.
I'll just so I was in a business meeting, and this also maybe if we bring it back to business, and they were from Singapore, right? He's from Singapore, and I told him I changed my name, and then he was like, wow. He was like one of the founding fathers of the new Singapore, the way it is now. You see Singapore is such a well-developed country. The prime minister, because Singapore, the British went and colonized them. So they gave his name as Harry. So when he actually came back to Singapore, he removed Harry from his name and took Lee, Lee, Chinese name from his parents and grandfather. So and because he also wanted to connect to the voters, because even in that time, the Singaporeans, they had all removed those names. They had Singaporean Chinese names. And so he was thinking, for me to also connect with my voters, he removed his name, Harry. And went Lee. And so you see, look at the Chinese and see how powerful they are in what they're building. But you see, to take that name Lee, they walk in the building Lee. Look at the way the Chinese build, the Indians build. Why is it a coincidence that we, as a continent of Africa, even if you look on the business side, even if you look on the world side, the only continent that has most of its people with names of outsiders, we're the most behind. Everyone else is way more ahead of us. Is that a coincidence that, like, all these other places, Vietnam, I went there, they all have Vietnamese names. They all removed Christianity and Islam out of the country. And I went there, their tourism, their economy is moving, right? So it's everywhere else apart from Africa. So I think even on the business perspective, like, that's power. But why? Well, when you just don't know who you are.
Yes, we lose everything. That is why the city let the rubbish on the street. You have a mayor and you walk, drive in pile of rubbish, and think, oh, that's okay. It's rubbish, but that's fine. That is our life. Somebody put the things there. But when I went to Rwanda, the fun thing they did first to improve is to have clean city. That's the first thing they did. People, they were laughing. They can see now how life starts. To know who you are, just clean yourself. Clean yourself is going to make sure people have a bit respect of you. Yeah, it changed. Those are the things we should keep working all together when we are talking about these things, identity, and about how we have to follow identity. Like as I say, China, we are still against people, their mind is still against them, even though they show the progress in 50 years, how life works. And only way as Africa to be, it's to learn the model. How do you develop so quick? How? Is to change the mind. That is what we need, to know who you are. Now, when you look at the news, they say, oh, the next Africa is coming, they are young, they are majority, or they put statistics out. Those statistics mean nothing. To be majority, to have all gold, to be the richest country, to be all those distractions they keep telling us is distraction until we change our mind. To have all minerals, we don't know how to use it, it means nothing. It means nothing. You have to invent first what you used to with it today. They keep those statistics to distract us. Instead to tell us, wake up, let's use our mind. We know who we are first. We take our identity first. And then we build our nation. We are not going to build a nation because we are majority. No. When we are majority, we are strong enough, always there was a consequence. When we are strong enough, our ancestors everywhere, they become slaves. When we have land, we become colony. For them, see, those things there, it never exists. It never ceases to go away. It's still there now. Because the thing we're talking about, they keep praising us in wrong direction. It's the same, this Christianity, this belief, waiting to go to heaven, waiting to go to see Jesus, instead to believe in ourselves, to look at ourselves, how we go to change. In China, they have a better life. There's no Jesus there who's going to come to save them. They know there's no those kind of heaven. Look how they are progressing in 30 years. Look how they do that. There is no Jesus there. There is no Christianity there. You see, that's how we should learn. How, our religion is not going to take us anywhere, Sugira. We see example of other nations as the same, as they believe, They feed themselves, they have security themselves, they have health for themselves, they have the education for themselves, they have everything for themselves to be able to be where they are.
And when you link of the power of identity, so for example, we've got a comment, it's called values, how you treat others. The performance index for Africans is beyond woeful. So he's saying that Africans, we don't really have that much values. But when you take someone's identity, well, what do? When you remove their names, you go and give them their values are religion. So you basically you put someone is, oh, this is your religion. So your identity becomes as religion. Because if you talk about values, most Africans, their values, where do they come from? They come from the church. They come from, for example,
The colonial,
Islam,
yes.
because it comes to, the religion. But like I said, a white person knows they don't need to go to church to be able to not steal from their people, right? In Africa, a politician, he's not going to go and steal and take money out of his pocket, and he's not going to steal. Yes, of course, there's evil everywhere, but the economy circulates. In Africa, their values are under church, but they'll still go and steal from their people. But the only reason you do that is because you don't know who you are. You look at
Yes.
Middle East, right? Middle East, they use religion, but they all know that they're gods. Why? Because they created Islam. So even if we create Islam, these are our values. So they know we're not going to go and hurt another brother. We're going to keep our place clean. We're going to, of course, in the general. So it's because that's the belief from their ancestors. So they're strong
Yes.
about the beliefs because that's their identity. They know that they are the creators of those beliefs. So they walk out there as gods. They walk out there with their values, So I think
Yes.
that's what comes down to. Africans, the reason why we don't have much values is because our identity is in religion. And when it's
Yes, they
in
have been
religion,
interfered.
those are
Yes.
human beings' thoughts. None of us are perfect. It's hard to be perfect. To try and live a Christian life, it's impossible. So our identity is into another man's beliefs, and that's why you see you don't have values, because you don't know who you are. But when you know who you are, these are our values. This is what we do, And again, you can still have your name but not have values, but it's still the foundation of helping
Yes.
you understand where you're from and your values, instead of using the values of church or religion, which is from another
Yes.
human being.
And remember, those index they are talking about, all those statistics, is created also the same person. It doesn't come from the African, it comes from the white. So those index also, 30 years ago, they were on China. So those index, if you go there, we found there were a lot of numbers is not matching. So what they changed now, because they believe in themselves. They believe they continue to be power themselves. They have to feed themselves. They have to defend themselves, not from outsider. See? They build everything. Of course, they could have get from economy idea from outsider, but the education, it was working for them. You see now the difference? Chinese education they get from Western, from the white, from the America. They came to build themselves, not to build the colony. Our education is still building the colonial mind. They invent. So that's the difference. Chinese education they get from everywhere in the world, it came to build themselves. If you teach them how you make a phone, they have to learn and they have got to make their own phone. They're not continue buying your own phone. If you teach them how to make the car, they got to learn how to make the car. Then they got to own their own car. That is what education should be. But as in Africa, when they give education, we have to continue to consume what somebody has told us. We can't say, okay, we got education now. Okay, let's build our own car. They say, oh no, you can't do that. Or you can't make your own coffee. No. They say there's English tea. English does not even brand tea. But you find the most expensive tea is the English tea because we're still working for colonies. But Chinese, wherever they learn, they have to make it for themselves because that's what the education means is. Education has to build you. Education doesn't need to build the the colonizer. You know? And then again, the value. No one is going to give the value until we give the value to ourselves. Yes. I know how I'm feeling now, the value I get now, just by knowing my identity. It's so powerful. It's so powerful than having $1 million on my account. See? And to do that, to have the value of your identity, you don't need to be financial millionaire. Anyone can do it. Again, what kind of person is that? Is it supporting colonial mind, or is he want to be free from his mind? Mm. So if he's African, every African should be supporting this. Even all my friends, they say, okay, we agree with you, but as you're not going to change our name, and that's fine, and that's how it is.
For me, like, to be honest, I just don't get, like, even when people call me by my old name, I get cringe. Like, why are you calling me the name of a white person? Like, it just feels weird. Like, and it feels weird because, as I said, you go and see other people, they don't have names of other people, but it just feels weird for me to be called by the name of a white person.
Yes,
Like,
so
to
because
be a
you see,
man, I don't feel
yes,
comfortable.
that's how it is. Because when I told you that, to always sometimes people matching their belief. So when we are matching, so that's how it works. So we are going to tell this teaching 10 people, 2 people, they're going to come on our side. At that 8, they're going to say no. And that's how life works. Yeah. And then one is going to tell another one, and we're going to tell another one. That's why I say this is the way we do it. When we talk about we are God, when you talk to believe in ourselves, it's individual. It had to be individual thinking. It had to be individual goals. It have to be individual action. Those 3 things each individual have to have. Your individual thinking, how we're thinking about our Christianity, how we're thinking about our names. You think about it first. And again, what is your goals now? When your goals now to know, I want to have my own identity. I want to change my name. Your goals is the action you got to take and continue to remove from your social media. Like that thing there. Every African social media, they should represent by their identity, by the African name, but not the white name. Maybe you keep in the documentation in the other thing there in your name. The way the system works now, everything is easy.
Even
Yeah.
just like, like, I think that's a great point in terms of, what we're doing with social media and trying to take, building a legacy and, like the name, like you look at even the athletes, Paul Pogba, all these football players. No wonder you're just seen as monkeys. You have other people's name. You look at Paul Pogba, your name's Paul, or you're a Christian. Then you convert to Islam. You see, we don't know who we are. We're the only people, Africans are the only people where you see someone who he started as a Christian, then later in life he converts to Islam. Your name's Paul,
Islam,
then you
yes,
become a
yes,
Muslim. We're the
yes,
only people
yes.
who are like that. You'll never see a white person, rarely any white people who, I converted to Islam, or it's very rare. It's only the very
Yes.
small.
So that's what they
A
say.
white
We
person
don't
that
know
doesn't. Why am I
where.
going to go to someone else's beliefs? I'm not going to, as a white person. Why am I going to go and change my name to Muhammad? Like, or not even change my name. Why would I go to being a Muslim? My ancestors created our thing. Even if I might not be religious, but I'm not going to go to. Which white people do you see? Oh, I converted. Or a Chinese person saying, "Oh, I converted to Islam," or an Indian person. It's very rare. It's only Africans where, "Oh, my name's Paul. Paul. Oh, tomorrow, next week, he has Arabic friends and African Muslim friends. Then 2 weeks later, he becomes a Muslim. Then 10 years later, he changes back to, oh." Why are we flip flopping? It's because we don't know
Yes.
ourselves.
So because we know ourselves, and that's why we're coming there. We should become African spirituality believe that nothing else. We are African. We don't need to be thinking there. So that is why been taken advantage. So that's why people think we don't value ourselves. Of course, no one is going to respect you when you take his belief. No one is going to respect you. Arabs is not going to respect you. A white person is not going to respect you. No way. And have you realized, even when you look in the sport, especially when you look, it comes in European, all those boxers, all those fighters, most of them you found they changed to Muslims, they
Muhammad
changed from
Ali.
Christian, Muhammad Ali, or most of them they do that because, again, who managed them? All those athletes, all their manager, they're Arabs. Now you look, all the teams in Europe is European owned, but who manage the individual? Most people who manage those individuals, they are different. Eh? And that is how we have to start continue to think about it, is how we start continue to talk to people. And in this sense, it's a war, but Sugira, we have to keep what we have to do. Or we have our normal individual life and also be part of fighting this. It's the journey, but yes, we are looking, change our mind. We are looking to support each other. We don't want to be enemy with people we don't believe the same thing there. We want to bring peace together. We want to be one. We don't need to be identified by a different belief or a different religion. So that's what we need. Our action is just to put us together. Our action is not just to separate from us. Why you are African, you need to be Muslim to survive. Why do you think that is the only way to live, to have a good life? Why? Why do you think to be Christian is the only way to live? Why? And those identity from outside. Why we can't be just African and you have better life and we live better and we look after ourselves and we bring value to ourselves. That's what we want to bring together in this community.
Powerful, powerful. I think we're going to end it there. It's been an amazing session. 1 hour and a half nearly. Oh yes, more than nearly an hour and a half, 90 minutes. We thank you guys for tuning in. Africans Take Back Your Names. If you have any more questions, and my dad's book talks a lot about that, you know, who told you you are not God. From Ndizeye Rubasha, a motivational speaker who's been dedicated for over decades, you know, really just in the past few years, learning these beliefs of who he is and where he's going. And he's on a legacy to Africans to take back their names. As the author of this book, creating another book, Ndizeye Rubasha brings to you guys who told you that you are not God. For many years, colonizers and missionaries told us that God was far away in the sky, that we had to seek him elsewhere in their churches or through their rituals. They stripped us of our names, erased our identity, and filled us with fear so that we can abandon the names of our ancestors. This book is a voice of awakening. Ndizeye Rubasha reminds all Africans that God is not in some distant heaven, God is within you. So Ndizeye Rubasha, as you go on your motivational tour, speaking to Africans, speaking to others, speaking to human souls to know their identity, what message do you now, as part of who you are, being a motivational speaker, also with people being able to purchase the book, which I'll leave in the description below or in the chat here. You can just click this link. What message do you want to leave people as we leave off today?
Yeah, so the message is just like my brother and my sister, let's to open our knowledge. Let's we question. We bring our idea together. I'm telling you, we should not be enemy because we have a different thinking and different belief. So the difference is good to make work together, to grow together, to be one. We can't be divided by other people believe. We should always become one. And the only way we're going to do it is just to embrace each other. Question, and the question again, and the question again, what you believe. And that is the powerful message I can give to you. When we open to learn more, everything is going to be better for Africa.
Powerful. All right, guys, make sure you like, share, subscribe on all platforms, and then we'll see you guys in the next episode. Thanks, Dad.
Thank you, Sugira. Yeah, I'm going to check on the mom. They're down there.
Where,
Yeah.
where is she in the you guys in the hotel?
Yeah.
Is that are you in your room?
No, I'm outside. How
So
can
where's
I?
the room? You can show us.
So this is the swimming pool now. Our room is just like behind me there.
So wait, you guys are staying at Airbnb or Booking.com?
Yeah, but it's a very nice hotel.
Me, I need to go.
Mom is.
Can we see?
So anyway, we'll catch up. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thanks, Dad. Bye.